The Path of Exile 2 beta is gonna be big and amazing. Let me tell you this. D4 bad? No. D4 completely irrelevant.
But we also know what content is likely to be in Path of Exile 2's closed beta. This also comes from the mouth of Jonathan Rogers. He's very transparent with a lot of this. First and foremost, they want to put the entire
The bear with the trample is gonna be so cool. People are gonna absolutely love it. Because it's an auto bomber, essentially. It's an easy access auto bomber. You know what I think is gonna be the big thing that they do with Path of Exile 2? They're gonna take the most niche but most loved builds of Path of Exile 1. For example, Righteous Fire, auto bombers, and all of those things. And they're gonna implement it as basic builds that can be used in the early game for Path of Exile 2. And if they do it, I think that's gonna be absolutely huge. Because imagine that. The average player in Path of Exile, well, quits at Hillock because they lose to him. It is what it is. But the second average player doesn't actually get to the end game almost ever. You know, they quit around Act 4 or 5 because they feel that their build is complete. And I completely understand it. I'm not gonna lie. I quit most leagues I honestly quit around killing Kitawa. Because, you know, the build doesn't change enough on average. And, you know, the only people who are advocating, oh, Path of Exile has so many unique builds, are people who play the game, who finish the game every single time, every Uber boss at max difficulty. And, well, you know, that's not the average player at all. The average player has absolutely no access or knowledge about even the most basic of advanced builds like auto bombers or righteous fire. The average person does not get that far, but everyone loves righteous fire. Everyone loves auto bombers. Everyone loves a lot of things in Path of Exile that the average person does not see. And if POE 2 allows the average person to actually play those builds, oh, it's gonna be big.
Campaign in there. They want to thoroughly progression test. They want to know how fast do people complete the campaign. Are there any broken skills, builds, items, stuff we need to definitely adjust before we actually launch the league system? Because the way Path of Exile works, when a league retires, it goes to the standard realm. They don't want to have to void real leagues. So they want to find if there's anything wrong with the campaign immediately. They also said, in addition to the entire campaign being in, they are going to have aiming for at least 60 endgame maps in the game to start. That means if there's going to be around 100, a little over that, they're going to have 60% of the mapping system already set up and solved. Additionally, they are not going to have an Atlas passive skill tree, but they are going to have something that accomplishes the same sort of idea. Now, that might be because the Atlas isn't the way we map in Path.
That might be because the Atlas is stupid. The Atlas skill tree is stupid. Okay? Path of Exile 2 is supposed to be more casual friendly. That's why I'm saying it. You know, there's probably still going to be a skill tree and whatnot, but a lot of the systems that are kind of like, okay, they're just slightly tedious, they're gone. Again, gems and links, how they work, so gone. Good. And they're going to change a lot of things. So, chances are the Atlas passive skill tree is not going to even exist. It's going to exist in some form, but it's most likely going to be more basic, like, you know, here's a bar that goes up kind of form.
Path of Exile 2, or it might be because they just want to separate out the Atlas passive skill tree of POE 1 from the mapping editor in Path of Exile 2 to really distinguish one game from the other.
Oh yeah, that's a really cool enemy to have. Imagine that. Teleports every hit. Wow, what a time to be alive. Diablo 4, make notes. This is going to be more annoying than your enemies.
In addition to the 60 maps, the mapping editor system, Jonathan also said that there will be other endgame systems present in the beta to test. Now, what those are, we don't know, but we can be
Nice.
imaginative. If they're porting over endgame systems from Path of Exile 1 into PoE 2, what immediately comes to mind are the following. Delve and the Azurite Mine, right? Jonathan loves Delve. It's expansive, it's
Who doesn't love Delve? Delve was one of the best things ever.
beloved. It was ingenious how they implemented this endless dungeon in which you can gather materials to craft and make the best gear around and just keep going and going and going. It's truly infinite. So that probably will be in Path of Exile 2 alongside maps. In addition to that, I would not be surprised if Heist is also in Path of Exile 2. I have a feeling many of the characters that we see in the Rogue Harbor were actually developed for Path of Exile 2 first and then put into
Heist itself, I don't think is gonna be in PoE 2. Dude, Heist is... Man, most people don't like Heist.
Path of Exile 1. I wouldn't be surprised if that entire sequence is just updated to be in the story of Path of Exile 2 and recycled wholesale. The heisting system is unique in ARPGs, it's unique in Path of Exile, and it has a small subset of people who greatly enjoy the content. In addition to delving,
Yeah, small subsect of people. If, again, PoE 2 is not literally even made for PoE fans. Let's get that thing out straight, okay? It is supposed to conquer and destroy Diablo 4 in its entirety, because PoE 1 can't do that. PoE 1 is too niche. It requires you to read too many light novels to understand how the endgame works for it. And an average player is not going to do that. Again, the average player literally deletes the game on Hillock. It is what it is. Okay? And by the way, I don't know how you do Hillock, but I just go to his face, get no level ups, just, get the support gem, and smack him. Your regeneration with the flasks, if you don't spam them like an idiot, is going to be 100% enough for every single class to just kill him without kiting. At melee range, doesn't matter what class, you can do it, no problem. I mean, most people lose at Hillock and give up. That's kind of cray-cray, I'm not going to lie, boys. So yeah, anything that's complicated, anything that was even niche in Path of Exile 1 is not going to make it into Path of Exile 2. Because this is supposed to directly compete with Diablo 4.
and heisting. I also think that Delirium is a shoe-in for Path of Exile 2, not only because it has been confirmed by the PoE 2 team, but because it is a fundamental part of Endgame ever since it was released into Path of Exile 1. Being able to add this extra layer of incredible juice onto your maps and create Delirium maps themselves is amazing. And it sets the skill ceiling and build ceiling in Path of Exile so much higher than it was in the past. So I think it will join Delving and Heist in the trio of initial endgame systems and features in Path of Exile 2 from Path of Exile 1. Now, in addition to those three, I do think there will be another brand new endgame system in PoE 2. What that might be, who knows? It could be some sort of Coliseum system, which is something that we really haven't seen in Path of Exile wholesale. It could be the long-awaited Delve, but
I don't know what he means, a Coliseum system, honestly, even.
Up. It could be a true expedition system. We know all the expedition and
I like this one. I really like this mechanic. It's good. I don't even remember what it's called, honestly, but I like it. I like it. Admittedly, it gets kind of annoying when you have, 7 charges to place, but, hey, if you mainstream this a little bit, I think it's going to be fine.
PCs are in Path of Exile 2. Maybe we're actually sailing from island to island in Expedition, which was the original plan for the League in Path of Exile 1 before all of that was cut due to time constraints. Overall, already, it sounds like Path of Exile 2 is going to be filled to the brim with endgame content. But that's not it, everyone. Truly, that's not all. Remember that Path of Exile 2 is coming with a whole host of new skills, new character classes, and new spears.
Path of Exile 2 is gonna have spears. It's gonna be amazing. I love spears.
Ascendancy classes. Now, Jonathan said their plan is to allow all players to play all of the classes and ascendancy classes in the closed beta. However, that might not be feasible. So there might be a few ascendancies and or character classes that are not available to play.
Bruh, do they have a necromancer? I actually have never checked do they have a necromancer. I assume they must, because, you know, a necromancer is the literal staple of fantasy gaming, right? A lot of people like necromancers, especially after solo leveling. Yeah, necromancers became big, and if you don't know it, Sag.
In that closed beta initially. However, just like they will be adding tons of Path of Exile.
So good, by the way, I read the light novel. Yeah, I have read the solo leveling light novel, and it was amazing.
Exile 1 League content to the closed beta throughout its 6 months to 1 year lifespan. They will also be adding new ascendancies and new character classes into that closed beta if they aren't there at the very beginning, which is awesome to hear. We don't even realize how much content there is in Path of Exile 2 yet. And really, Jonathan understands that. He said to Kriparian in the interview, their plan is for Path of Exile 2's closed beta.
Dude, but I'm really worried about it, because again, Path of Exile 2 is literally not made for Path of Exile players. Anyone who has probably, you know, killed the Ubers more than one time in their life and is constantly playing Path of Exile, they're probably gonna hate POE 2. Because it's gonna be nothing like the Zoomer. Because keep in mind, POE 1 is a Zoomer fest. It's literally literally the TikTok of hack and slash. It's a Zoomer fest. Boom, 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 boom. Map done, yay. Boom, 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 boom. Uber done, yay. Oh, what's that path of building? Of course I use it. Dude, I honestly think you cannot. If you have path of building, I don't think you are even allowed to participate in the PoE 2 discussion, because you're gonna probably inherently, defaultly demand that PoE 2 is made into PoE 1. And that's not the goal of this. I wonder how that's gonna end out.
To dwarf, essentially, any other ARPG on the market in terms of content when it's in closed beta. I mean, that's shocking to hear, but it might be right. Just the new character classes and ascendancies alone is going to be hours and hours and hours of content for all of those PoE players out there. So much buildcraft, so many more new ideas and possibilities in PoE just with ascendancy classes that are new just unfold. And it's phenomenal and just enticing to think about. I cannot wait to see what the ascendancy classes are for the druid. And speaking a little bit more on the classes themselves, I would posit that many of the classes are going to be ready to be in that closed beta, especially the ones that are brand new and have been showcased. I'm talking the druid, the huntress, the warrior, the monk, the sorceress, and the mercenary. Now, the other 6, I would posit that
Huntress all the way, baby.
They would also be ready too, but Jonathan did seem to hint that not all the character classes might not be ready on that June 7th date. However, I'm going to go ahead and guess that the brand new ones were the ones that had the first coat of paint set on them after they decided to add 6 more classes to the game, and we've seen gameplay of them. I think they will be good to go. Honestly, I think all 12 will be ready. It might be the ascendancies that will be added to the game throughout the closed beta. Don't forget as well, there's a ton of item changes coming in Path of Exile 2. There's a ton of crafting changes as well. We're going to get the crafting bench, but in a different form. A lot of the crafting currency has been completely revamped, everyone. Chaos orbs, for example, act as an annulment orb and an exalted orb in one. They remove a modifier and then they add a modifier. That's fantastic. Orbs of alteration, they are gone completely. No more spamming magic items with thousands and thousands and thousands of orbs of...
Yeah, because that's what bots find. I mean, alts were literally one of, honestly, the most expensive currency in the game. compared to everything else, honestly. And they were farmable really fast. I mean, imagine just a basic bot that does legend picks up yellow items. There you go. A lot of currency would be farmed. Yeah, alts were a problem, especially considering some people bought like a little 2,000 alts at the same time because they needed to get their super base or whatever. Oh man, endgame crafting in POE 1. It is what it is.
Of alteration, like I've done in Path of Exile 1 Affliction League. And on top of all of this actual content, there's of course going to be all these beautiful graphics and animations and sounds and music that we're going to get to thoroughly test as well. Our computers, I'm guessing, will be extremely stressed, but I know some of us are upgrading in anticipation for this brand new innovative ARPG. That honestly is what I am doing. I am making a mega computer, and I am confident I will be able to stream every Wednesday, and once the beta releases, I'll be streaming a little bit more often, and I will be showcasing Path of Exile 2 to as many.
I wonder how good the PC actually needs to be for PoE. That's seriously an interesting thing.
Many people as possible. Okay, Exiles, just to recap, Path of Exile 2's closed beta begins on June 7th, 2024. You will be able to get into the closed beta either if you played a lot of Path of Exile 1, you've spent a lot recently, or your lifetime spend in.
You spent a lot recently. There you go, boys. Good luck.
The game has been $500 about or more. That's based on 300.
Bruh, that's literally a paid price. They literally, dude, how many people are gonna now spend $500 on PoE? Or more just to make sure that they get in? Free beta, eh? That's not a free beta, my dude. That is a paid beta 100%. This is no different than, you know, the good old times when Blizzard released the game and if you got a beta key, you could sell it for a K or something. Remember Heroes of the Storm where beta keys, you could buy them on eBay and they costed like $500 or more? Jeez Louise.
Closed beta. Now, inside the closed beta, you are going to be able to test the entire campaign, a lot of the endgame, a lot of leagues.
Man, I'm excited, but I'm worried because the PoE, even though this one's supposed to be like, you know, easier and whatnot, and supposed to like fight against Blizzard and whatnot, the people from PoE 1, I'm not sure this is. I'm kind of worried that they're just gonna make PoE 2 and PoE 1 to a certain degree. Because, you know, the PoE 1 player base is gonna yell that, oh, PoE 2 is too slow. I can't zoom with my character everywhere. Yeah, that's gonna be something. That's definitely gonna be something. Well, anyway, that was Talkative 3. It is what it is. Anyway, yeah. That's it. This was Quizzer Said. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.